Hi, welcome. My name is Christy Rickman. I am the Director of Transfer Advising here at University of Houston Clear Lake. I'm so excited to be part of your next part of your transition in your new journey to the university. So I welcome you and I hope that this information will be helpful. I did put a lot of thought into this information and what we thought would be essential for our new transfer students to have a smooth transition into the university. So on the next slide, I go over the kind of the key things that we're going to cover, just so you have an idea of what all we're going to go over today. This session again is for students who have been admitted to the university for spring of 21. If you have not yet been admitted, we'd encourage you to contact admissions. I put their email address here. I'm going to go over what we do here in transfer advising and our role to support you as a transfer student. One of the things I'm going to cover is walking you through how to locate your username and set up your password to that account, because you're going to need that in order to log in and do the actions that I'm going to be guiding you on how to do today. So that'll be one of the first things that we do. I'm going to walk you through signing into eServices, particularly utilizing the Student Center within eServices. That's your main dashboard, your main portal that you'll use as a student. So it also gives you access to your My Advisement report. So that is your online degree audit that tracks your progress toward your degree. I'm going to show you how to add classes to your shopping cart. I'm going to show you how to enroll in classes. And then also help you to understand your class schedule. So after you do get enrolled in classes, I'm going to teach you some tools on how to use that class schedule to connect with different resources. So I'm going to go over the advising structure here at UHCL. So we do have a unique advising structure that we have very specialized advising units to support you depending on where you're at in your journey. So right now you're connecting with transfer advising because you're transferring into the university. And then I'm going to walk you through how to understand the candidate plan of study, which is the kind of unofficial degree tracking sheet that each of the colleges utilize, which is really nice because it's a concise view of your degree requirements. So it's everything on one page versus your online advisement report, which could be about 7 pages long. So it's a more lengthy because it is a live tool tracking your progress toward your degree. So the candidate plan of study will be a key resource to you as a student. So, but it does have to be manually updated by an advisor. So, but again, great resource. I'm going to also go over the transfer advising worksheet. So this is a worksheet that we came up with. One of the key things that you're going to want to see on that worksheet is the classes that we recommend for you to take in your first semester. So we're going to take a look thoroughly at your transfer classes, and then based on that, we're going to say these are the classes we recommend that you enroll in. So again, I'll explain that worksheet later on. And then at the very end of this, we have a survey that you're going to complete, and that will let us know that you finished this video and that you're ready for the next step. So again, we'll go over that toward the end. It does take about an hour and 15 minutes for this presentation. So we'd have about 47 slides to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So we had planned to do this in person. So last spring, there were several students who were delayed in getting admitted because the community colleges closed earlier than what the university did. And so your transcripts were, the students' transcripts were delayed. They didn't get into the university until after we opened back up in January, and still took about a week or so to get processed. So it was a really big delay, and we didn't want our process to be part of the challenges for our new transfer students. So we came up with group advising. And so again, we had planned to be in front of computers. We were going to have a computer lab that we were all going to go to on campus and invite students to come to and enroll while we walked around and helped them with the enrollment process. So this is our virtual way of doing that. So again, hoping that this will be helpful. Probably still not as in-depth as what it would have been in person. But again, I feel like this will be helpful. And we are going to be offering group advising an additional service to you after this is over. So if you do want to connect with us virtually in a group setting, we'll offer that to you. All right. So some of the key things that I think is most important that my team does is we go through your transfer credits very thoroughly. We're going to be looking at your core. So in the state of Texas, there's a core coding system. And so if you're transferring from a public community college or a public university in the state of Texas, then we have to honor the core of those institutions. And so my team is trained in knowing the core and making sure that that's honored for our transfer students. So we will be looking at that. That's one of the first things that we do once a student has been admitted. We're also going to thoroughly go over my advisement report. So this is your online degree audit. So we're going to look at that and see, is your transfer credits applying toward your degree requirements correctly? And if they're not, we will take actions behind the scenes to fix those things. So again, those are things that we will take a look at and make sure that it is corrected for you so that you don't take classes incorrectly. Once we've reviewed your transfer credits and we know exactly what you're coming in with for your major, we will then recommend classes for you to take in that first semester to help with that transition to the university. So, if you want to go part-time, we're going to say pick these 2 classes. If you want to go full-time, we're going to say pick these 4 or 5 classes. So again, we're going to give you that in-depth information so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. We're also going to draft that candidate plan of study. So that's that unofficial degree tracking sheet that I was telling you that the colleges utilize. So we set up that initial plan for you, and then we're going to share it with the colleges. They will then take it over from there, and they'll continue to update it each semester as you complete classes. So that is something that has to be done manually. But again, it's a great tool because again, it is that concise view of your requirements and what you've completed. And I always say we are your transfer credit advocates. So I'm very passionate about what I do in making sure that your transition to the university is as smooth as possible and that you get every credit that you've earned. So that is one thing I can promise you, is that we will thoroughly go through your credits and help make sure that you're getting credit for anything that you've earned. And I even say to you, if you're coming from private or out of state or even international, if you didn't come from a school that has the state coding system, we will also go through that, and we're going to make recommendations to you to say, you have this philosophy class that seems very similar to ours, but admissions didn't evaluate it as an equivalent course, but I want you to get your syllabus, and we're going to advocate on your behalf to have that evaluated further. So there will be classes like that you'll see that my advisors will say, get your syllabus. And the reason for that is because we want to advocate for you. So again, if you're coming from a school, not from the state of Texas, a public school, then those are some additional things that we may ask you to do, again, just to help you to get credit for things that you've earned. All right, so again, first thing that we're going to do, again, your primary tool you're going to utilize here, this is your main student platform for accessing anything related to your academic records, making payments, registering for classes, anything that you need to take action on as a student. You're going to do it most likely through eServices. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. How to locate eServices. So because it's a primary platform that all students have to use, it is always accessible on the top left of any UHCL web page. So the easiest way to find it is to open up a browser, type in www.uhcl.edu. And on the top left, you can see the screenshot here. It is the first hyperlink underneath the URL. So it has eServices right there. Once you click on eServices, you're going to be prompted to enter your username and password. So again, this is something that you most likely don't yet have. So I'm going to walk you through how to get that. Now you're going to open up an internet browser, and you're going to type in, get back to the uhcl.edu homepage. And on the top right of the screen, you're going to see an option to click on, and it says search. I want you to click on the search and type in EULA. So it stands for End User License Agreement. Not intuitive. That is something that the University Computing and Telecommunications Department manages. And so it is very technical. But if you type in EULA, it will take you to a link, and you'll be able to click on that link. and it'll say faculty and staff accounts, and it'll say university computing and telecommunications. So again, click that link. It's actually taking you to a faculty and staff page. But again, this is a trick that I've learned. This is the quickest way for you to set up your password. So you don't have to, have an email sent to you. You literally type in some information, you set up your password right there on the spot. So let's go ahead and do that. Once you get to that page, so once you open that hyperlink, you're going to see embedded in a paragraph, the paragraph header says new employees. And I want you to look within that paragraph, and you're going to see the words EU, or the letters EULA hyperlinked in blue, just like it is here on my screen. I want you to click on that. This is going to take you to the UCT account setup page. And so on this page, you're going to select that I am a UHCL student, and you're going to put in your 7-digit ID number. So here I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, you're going to put in your unique UHCL ID number right there. And you're going to put in your month, day, and year of birth, and then hit sign in. And it's going to walk you through the steps to then finish setting up your password and seeing what your username is. Now, your username. All right, sorry about that. I got choked up. All right, so again, this will allow you to set up your username, or to set up your password, and it will display your username. Your username is your last name, your first initial, followed by 4 numbers. So again, look for that when you're going through those steps, and write that down, or make note of it in your phone so that you have that information, because that will be your primary login credentials for everything. So Blackboard, Navigate, eServices, Outlook. So you're going to use that credential for everything. So again, last name, first initial, and 4 numbers. All right. So again, now that you have your login information, so you're going to go back to eServices, and you're going to open up that browser. You're going to click on eServices and enter that information. So again, enter your username and the password that you just set up. The first thing that you're going to see again is this dashboard. So depending on what device you're looking at, this the order of this information could be different, but you're going to be looking for the Student Center tile. So the Student Center on this view is on the left in the middle of the screen, and it has like a little calendar behind it, and then a little graduation person right there. So you're going to click that tile. It's going to bring you to your dashboard. So this is your main dashboard. It gives you a glimpse of academic information, financial information, personal information. If you have any holds, it'll list those there. And you need to-do list items. So if you have any things that you need to take action on, they'll usually be listed right there under the to-do list. Everyone will have the mandatory transfer advising hold. Again, after you complete this video session and you complete the survey at the end, 3 business days after that, we will remove your hold, and we're going to email you your degree plan, and also which is the candidate plan of study, and the transfer advising worksheet. So again, assuming this is not during the holiday break, we're either before the break or after the break, 3 business days after that. All right. And again, look at that to-do list. Some of you will receive the automatic transfer scholarship. So you'll see something under here that says ATS terms and conditions. If you see that note there, that means you've been awarded the automatic transfer scholarship. And my advice to you is go check your UHCL email, because the financial aid office would have emailed you information, and it would tell you that you need to sign the automatic transfer scholarship terms and conditions form. All right, so in this example, we're going to be using the My Advisement report. So let me go back to this. So right here on the left of the screen, you see the hyperlink on the left under academics. It says My Academics. I want you to click that link. And so when you click that, it's going to take you to your My Academics section. But right now I'm going to tell you a little bit about your advisement report and why this tool is so useful to you. It is your official degree tracking tool. So this is the tool that tracks your progress toward your degree. As you complete requirements, it pulls up and out of the way, and it shows that the course has been satisfied. It also pulls in all your transfer classes. So all your transfer credits will be integrated into that degree audit. The other thing I want to note too is that it's important that you have selected the correct major as well as the concentration or specialization for that major. So not every program has those, but we do have quite a few programs that do have those additional concentrations or specializations. And so it is important that you have declared that. If you have not, then we're going to work with you. We're going to reach out to you and ask you to do that. So be on the lookout, check your emails if you believe that your program does have a concentration. I even listed out some of the most common programs that students apply for that they did not list their concentration. So art and design majors have to declare whether they're doing graphic design, studio, or even the EC through 12 teacher certification. Fitness human performance majors also have to declare what concentration they're doing. So there's pre-physical therapy, pre-physician's assistant, pre-occupational therapy, pre-chiropractic medicine, exercise science, health promotions, or even EC through 12 PE certification. So again, several different options there. We cannot build your degree plan unless we know what these concentration or what concentration you're choosing. They are very unique. The degree plans are very unique to the concentration. So that is really important for us to have. One of the other most common ones is our interdisciplinary studies program. So that is the program that students who want to be teachers. So you want to be an elementary teacher through 6th grade or a 4th through 8th grade teacher, then your major is interdisciplinary studies. And these programs have several concentrations that you have to pick. So for instance, early childhood is one of the concentrations for EC through 6. There's reading, there's ESL, which is English as a second language. There's bilingual. So again, many different concentrations for you to choose from for that. So we need to know that information. Another common error that we see is students who want to be teachers. So they want to be an interdisciplinary studies major for EC through 6, early childhood concentration, end up choosing this program, which is called Early Childhood Care and Education. This program is actually designed to support students who are wanting to work with 5 years and younger at a learning center or child development center. So you're not really working at a school district, you're working usually with an independent company for child development. And so that's what this program is going to prepare you for. So if you did apply for that and you did intend to be an interdisciplinary studies teacher, EC through 6, then be sure to reach out to us so that we can get that update form to you and get your concentration and your program plan updated correctly. All right, so when you click on the My Academics, again, it's going to take you over to this page. This is your main central hub for most academic type things. So this is where you're going to see this is where you request your official transcript once you take classes here. It's also where you can view your transfer credits. For some of you, you may need an enrollment verification. So you're on your parents' insurance, or there's other reasons that you have to verify your enrollment with someone. This is where you'll get that. You click on this link, it builds you a letter, and it'll tell what classes you're enrolled in and the number of hours. And then you can print that out and provide it to whomever needs that. So again, so many different things that you take action here. Eventually, you're going to be applying for graduation through this link. So again, key thing we're going to focus on today is the View My Advisement Report. So that is the very first hyperlink here. And we're going to go ahead and click that now. And it's going to take us over to the advisement report. So the top part of the advisement report, I would say the first third of the advisement report is all policy information. So my advice to new students is to scroll past that information. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the next section. So I want you to get to the university core. So when you're in your audit, scroll down, get down to the university core. So most transfer students are going to come in with the university core complete. So again, if you're coming from a state institution in Texas, you probably did most of these classes already. If you're coming from out of state or private or international, then you could also have some of these classes completed, but they may show as needed. And so again, that's where we will help advocate for you. If we see classes that we think should be fitting in any of these components, creative arts, language, philosophy, culture, we will then tell you, hey, you have this class. We want you to get the syllabus for it. Let's get that evaluated further. We'll route it to faculty to see what they think. So again, be sure to you reach out to us if you have any classes like that. One thing I will note is one of the most common, or two of the most common substitutions that we do is for public speaking and learning frameworks. So most students do not need these classes if you're coming from a Texas institution. So if you're coming from another Texas institution, it's very likely that you have two other classes that's going to substitute for these. Most common are like introduction to speech communications, even interpersonal communications, which is speech 1318. We also see foreign languages coming in here. So beginning Spanish, beginning French, beginning Chinese, beginning German. So community colleges offer a lot of different options for this component. Again, we just offer public speaking and we just offer learning framework. So if you did not take those elsewhere, then this is what you would need to take here if in fact your degree audit is showing that you need that. And we tell you that you also need that when we send you the advising worksheet. So if we tell you that you need those, it does mean that you need those classes. So again, we would have thoroughly reviewed everything at that point when we make those recommendations. Here's another example of the university core. So here's a student who transferred in and their core complete. So all of their transfer classes are showing us complete. So in that previous one, you saw the list of classes listed out. In this one, you can see that the course, the whole university core is collapsed. And so it's pulled up and out of the way. So you can't even see what courses fall under that component area. And that's basically what you want every component to do. You want it to pull up and out of the way because that means you've satisfied everything under that requirement. All right, so again, on this next slide, this is going to show you the business core. So this is the foundation core for a business major. And so, not all of you are business majors, I know that. But I just want you to see how it shows that some things have been satisfied. So you see where it says principles of accounting 1 and 2, macro and micro economics. Those are all pulled up and out of the way. So that means those classes have been satisfied by your transfer courses. So again, when they pull up and out of the way, they are taken care of. If it has a drop down, little arrow pointing down, then that means there are classes that still need to be satisfied in this for this requirement. So for example, all business majors need to take math for business and social sciences. And so that class is a requirement for business majors. I also, these two have been completed, the business computer applications, as well as the business principles. I just wanted to do the drop down so that you could see, one is what does it look like when your transfer classes are showing up in the audit. So you can see the courses down there. It has a T for transfer, and then an A is the grade. And you also see the little green check mark out to the right. So that means that it has been satisfied. The other thing I wanted to point out about this program, so if you are a business major, you could potentially be exempt from these two classes. So if you haven't taken the business computer applications and you haven't taken the business principles, then you could potentially be exempt from these two classes depending on when you started college. So that's one of the things that we'll notate and we'll tell you about when we send you that candidate plan of study. We'll let you know that, oh, you started college before fall of 16, so you can be exempt from the business computer applications, or you started school fall 17 or later, so you can also be exempt from the business principles. So again, those are key things that we'll go over or tell you about whenever we send you that advisement or the candidate plan of study. All right, so in this example, so anything that you see that's blue font is hyperlinked. And so in this example, we're gonna click on the math for business and social sciences. So we're gonna click on that hyperlink and it's gonna take us to a detailed overview of that class. So it's gonna tell us a little bit more information about it. It's gonna tell us also what the prerequisites are. So it just says be TSI ready, which is Texas Success Initiatives, which just means that you're ready for college level math courses. And so if you're ready to take that class, you would go ahead and click on view class section. So click that button right there. And then here it's going to take you to the term information. So you're gonna be able to change the term. Most likely it'll have fall 20. You're going to change that to spring of 21 and then click show sections. And once you click show sections, it's going to show you the sections for spring of 21 for that class. So this is one of two. So there's 2 sections offered and it looks like both of them are open. So they both have green dots. So they're both currently still open. And whichever class you would like to enroll in, you would just click select to select that class. So right out next to the green dot, you'll see the blue font or blue hyperlinked text that says select. So you literally are going to click that to select the class. Once you select that, it's going to add the course to your shopping cart. And the one thing that I want to point out too is that after you add the course to your shopping cart, it's really important that you use the hyperlink that says return to your academic advising report. So you see that there on the bottom left. That hyperlink is typically always on the bottom left or the top left of the page. So look for that link because it'll take you right back to the same section. Otherwise, it resets your audit and you have to start all the way from the top and scroll back down through the information. So don't use the back buttons. Use the hyperlink right here that says return to my advisement report. After you do this a few times, it'll make more sense and it'll be a lot more intuitive. So to start out, it is a little confusing and a little overwhelming because it is a lot of information. So again, you can watch this video as much as you want. Again, hopefully this will be helpful to you. So after clicking return to my advisement report, it's going to take you back to that same section. So then I was scrolled down and I took a screenshot of the next section, which is the business core classes. So these are the upper level business core classes that a business major has to take. And so in this section, it has a class. So this student is a management major. And so I know that if they come in with their core complete and their foundation business classes complete, then one of the first classes they need to take as a management major is the management theory and practice course. So we're going to go ahead and click on that hyperlink. And after clicking on that, you'll get the course details. You can also look under the description to see, is there any prerequisites, anything unique to the class? And there's not. So let's go ahead and click on view class sections. And then change the term again from spring to spring 21 and then say show sections. And then you're going to see quite a few options here. So there's actually 11 options. For our training purposes, I'm only putting up a few of them, not putting up all 11. Because I want to just show you some examples here. So again, no matter what your major is, you're probably all going to see something similar. And so I just want you to understand this information. So one thing that you'll notice is that a lot of these still have openings. Some of them are waitlisted. You see the little orange triangles? Those are waitlisted courses. So they're full, but they're still allowing students to get on the wait list. And the one thing that I say for the wait list, it's sort of like going, flying at the airport. The plane is full, but they're allowing you to be on standby for the next available seat. So if somebody does not show up for their flight, then if you're the one on standby, then you're put onto the plane. And so this is basically what happens with the wait list, is if you're position 1 on the wait list, then someone drops the class, then you're automatically moved to enroll. The other thing that I will say about business classes is they will continue to monitor the capacity, and sometimes they'll increase the capacity. So if you were on the wait list and you were position 4, there's a chance that as we get closer to the semester starting, that they're going to increase the capacity of that class and you're automatically going to move to enroll. Because if they increased it, if you're position 4 and they increase the class size by 5, then you'll automatically move in and then there'll be 1 spot available for someone to enroll in. Otherwise the wait list will start again after that. So again, definitely utilize the wait list if the section is the one that you most prefer. But I also do encourage you to enroll in another class that does have availability. So in this example, if you could make one of the classes that are open, so it looks like they are, so during the weekday. So these classes are during the weekday, they have a requirement for you to connect virtually with them through Zoom or Teams. on specific days. So it could be synchronous, asynchronous, or it could be a completely synchronous class where you have to log in every Tuesday from 4 to 6:50 for that class. So again, you can click on the details of the course. So click on the section number and it'll tell you those details of the modes of instructions and what they expect. So what I recommend for our example is to go ahead and let's click on the, there's a class here that is open that says TBA, TBA, TBA. So when you see to be announced under the days, the start times, the room, that means that class is 100% online. But the one thing I want to make sure that business majors are aware of, as well as some HSH majors, is that you want to look for classes that are offered at UH Clear Lake or for UH Clear Lake students. So if you're not in a 100% online degree, then you can still choose classes that are 100% online, but you have to make sure they're not restricted to online students. So we're going to go ahead and click on this example because I'm pretty confident that this class is actually restricted to online students. And so you'll be able to see here under location, it says UHCL online. So that's a key indicator that that class is restricted. You'll also see an extra note under enrollment restrictions that say, or enrollment requirements, it'll say course is restricted to online majors only. So if you're not in the general business online degree, criminal justice online, public service leadership online, or anthropology online, then you're not going to be able to pick this class. So again, those programs are the only ones that can choose these types of classes. So let's go ahead and look at another class. So again, my advice would be, let's select one of the classes that you know that you could take. So if you could make that Tuesday class 4 to 6:50 work with your schedule, then I would say let's go ahead and select that class. So, so again, that would then add the course to your shopping cart. So again, hopefully this overview just gives you a good idea of how to navigate your degree audit. So no matter what your major is, those are just some tips to help you understand. One is the intricacies about the locations, looking for those notes about UHCL online, and then also understanding like what the wait list means. So again, wait list is utilized a lot. If you're mechanical engineering or information technology, then you're probably going to be using the wait list because those classes filled up right when registration opened in November. Again, do utilize the wait list, especially if you see it's the only option that you have for your major. And if the classes we've recommended you take are only those classes, then again, I would say go ahead and get on the wait list for those classes. I do suggest having some backup options though that don't conflict with those classes, because you don't want to get in a backup class that then conflicts with the waitlisted class. You can also monitor your status of the waitlist. And so I'm going to show you some more details here on after you've enrolled in classes, how to look at those details. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So the next step after you've built your shopping cart and you know you want to go ahead and enroll, you're going to use that link, return to my academic advisement requirements, and it's going to take you back to your online degree audit. You're going to scroll all the way up to the top. The top of the page, you're going to see under the third tab, the option to click on, which it says enroll. The way you go ahead and click on the enroll tab, it's going to pull up your shopping cart. So you're going to see the classes that you've added in there. Again, you can remove some, you can leave some in there. Whatever you decide, then go ahead and click on it. I think it'll say continue to step 2 of 3. And then once you get to that step where you've confirmed your classes, you're going to say finish enrolling. So you'll go ahead and click that button that says finish enrolling. And then you'll see at the bottom, it'll say your status is confirmed by a green check mark. If under status you see an X or an error message, do take a screenshot of that. If whenever you look at it and you're not clear like why you can't enroll in that class, you double check that it wasn't restricted to UHCL online students, and you double check that you meet the prerequisites for that. So it's a class that you know is listed in your audit and that is showing as completed. So then you're just not sure why it's not letting you enroll and it's not a time conflict. Then go ahead and send that message to us. So take a picture with your phone, take a screenshot. I love the snipping tool. So if you use the snipping tool, it's a free tool that I think you can download. I used it to build this whole PowerPoint. So it helps you to, you can just take images or shots of specific things on your screen. So again, send us that screenshot transfer at uhcl.edu. Always include your student ID number. So we need to know your 7-digit ID number so that we can then help you. And then let us know what your major is as well when you send that over. All right. So once you've enrolled in classes, I want you to go back to your home screen. So I'd like for you to go back to the dashboard view. So we're going to click on the little home on the top right of the screen, and you're going to then click on the student center tile. It's going to take you back to that dashboard. So then you'll be able to see your class schedule. So under the academic section, that was blank earlier. So now you actually will see your classes that you've enrolled in. For this example, I want you to click on the weekly schedule. It's right below your classes right there. So you'll see the hyperlink weekly schedule. We need to go ahead and click on that. And when you get into the weekly schedule, it's going to give you a weekly view and it's going to give you a list view. I want you to change the toggle over to the list view, and you're going to see something that looks like this. It'll give you your classes in a list form. And what I really like about this form is you get a lot of details here. One is that you can see the modes of instruction. So you can see that this particular student, all their classes are online asynchronous. So every one of their classes are traditional online classes. So they'll be taught through Blackboard. There's no specific times that they have to connect for their classes. They'll have to download the syllabus. They complete classes by the deadlines, and they submit everything through Blackboard. So traditional online class. And this is a non-online major. So you'll see under location, they all say UH Clear Lake. So again, 100% online, but they're all classes that are available to a UH Clear Lake student. They're not restricted to the UHCL online students. The student registered early, so they actually got into all these classes online. The other thing you'll see is the section number. So the section number, I think, is one of the best resources to students, especially if you're getting down to the wire and you're getting nervous about, your class. You can really get the details here. If you're also in a waitlisted class, you'll see that information right here under status. Right now, all of these say enrolled, but it would say not enrolled, and under there would be a header that says waitlisted, and it'll say position number 2 or position number 3. My advice is just for students to check that like every other day as we get closer, a week out from the semester starting. Semester starts January 19th. So as we're about a week out from that, I say check it daily. Check it in the morning, check it in the afternoon, and see if your position is moving up. If you are position 1 and you're already enrolled in a class that conflicts with this class that you really want, then my advice at that point is to drop that backup class so that you have a chance of moving to enrolled. If you're position 1, then there's a high chance, that over a week period, you already moved up 2 spaces. So there's a high chance that you would get moved to enrolled. So again, if you're position 1 and you have a class that you put in as a backup that conflicts with that, make sure you drop that class. Let's see. So in this example, we're going to click on the number 8 right there under the section number for the management 3301. And here is actually an example of a really detailed view of how you can get your professor's contact information. It tells you any notes about the class, and it also gives you a link to the textbooks. So this is the quickest way for you to be able to link to your textbook information. It'll link you right to the bookstore. I believe it even pulls up all the classes that you've enrolled in. But I know for sure it will pull up the link just for this particular class. So, but again, if you're logged in, then again, use this tool. The nice thing about the curriculum vita is when you click on that little paper clip, it'll pull up. You do have to make sure you don't have pop-up blocker on. So I have noticed that if you don't see anything pop up whenever you click on that paper clip, then it's probably your pop-up blocker. So make sure that that's not on. And then it'll pull up a new tab and it'll pull up their curriculum vita, which is basically their resume. So for your professor, it will tell you their credentials. It'll tell you their preferred email address. And with professors, they do right now, even before COVID, they work a lot virtually, from home. They come to class, most of our professors taught at night. So, they're coming to class and they're teaching, during the evening. So when students call them during the day, it's very rare that you would get a phone call back. So I always tell students, email your professors. And then some tips is in the subject line, always put your course number. So in this example, this class is management 3301. So in the subject line, I'd put management 3301 and whatever your question is after that. I also recommend in your UHCL email account is set up a signature. Set up a signature with your name, with your major, and even your 7-digit student ID number. So no matter when you email someone, that information is already included and you don't have to keep adding it every time. So set that up in Outlook. It's very easy to set up that signature. So again, and then call your professor by doctor if they have earned their EDD or their PhD. Do acknowledge that when you're contacting them. Be professional. You know, they are your professor, so you want to be professional with them. And if you're not sure, the easiest default is to say professor and their last name, because then that way you're not making assumptions, and you don't tell someone that only has a master's degree, like myself, that you don't call them doctor by mistake, and then they're like, oh, I'm not really a doctor yet, I haven't earned that. So just, you know, again, use professor if you're not sure. All right, so this is another screen. So this information actually will be covered in a lot more detail at the transfer student orientation that is coming up in January. There's one during a weekday in January and then one on a Saturday. So do make sure that you sign up for the transfer student orientation, but I'm going to just kind of quickly go over some general information because for my transfer students, it is a big shock. You know, university is a lot more expensive. If you're coming from a community college, this is a big difference in cost. And so I just want you to be aware of what that is going to be. You know, it's an estimation of what your tuition cost will be, just so that you have an idea and you can start planning on how you're going to pay for that. So and I also put on here some ways to pay. So we also offer the automatic transfer scholarship. So if you're transferring with a 2.75 cumulative GPA, and you take at least 12 hours here in the spring semester, then you'll receive this $1,000 scholarship. And so that's something that's guaranteed, automatic. As long as you have that 2.75 GPA, you don't have to apply for it. You will receive that. So the only thing they ask you to do is sign a terms and conditions form. So again, it will say ATS terms and conditions. And again, you'll see that in your student center under that to-do list item. There'll be a little note there that tells you that. But they will have emailed you that whenever that populates. Some of you will be using financial aid. You know, if you previously applied for financial aid at your community college and you didn't qualify, my advice is that you submit it again to the university. The cost of attendance, as you can see, is a lot higher here. So even though you may have been declined there, you may qualify here because our cost of attendance is higher. So just try it, submit your FAFSA. It is a little lengthy to do in the beginning, but once you've submitted it once, it's a lot easier to do every year after that to renew it. So again, do the 2020-21 FAFSA. I did put our school code on here, so the 011711. Go ahead and submit that over to UHCL if you haven't done that yet. If you're applying for FAFSA at this point, you may not have it by the January 15th deadline. Our payment deadline is always the Friday before classes begin. So whether you're starting or whether you're taking classes in the summer, in the fall, you know, in the summer, it's not until the Friday before classes start in June. In August, it's the Friday before classes start in mid-August. So again, for spring, it is the Friday before classes begin, which happens to be January 15th, and that is due by 5 p.m. So your financial aid, again, probably will not be finalized by them, but you know, again, if you get it submitted before we go on break on the 23rd, then maybe when you get back and you're on top of it every day, maybe you can have it completed by then. So, but again, it will take you being on top of it and working with the financial aid team to get that done. Someone will go over this at the transfer student orientation in a lot more detail. So again, just a general overview, what I'm giving you, but they'll give you a lot more thorough information at that transfer student orientation. Payment plans. Our student business services will also be presenting at the transfer student orientation. So they're going to go over all the different payment plans. I just tell my students up front that because we have a lot of students that pay out of pocket. And so we do offer installment plans. There's no interest for those. There is a $20 fee, a one-time fee that you pay in the beginning. But basically it takes your overall tuition cost, you divide it by 4, and then you pay one payment on January 15th. You pay your next payment in February, your next payment in March, and your final payment in April. So that would be an option. For those of you that are considering that are using financial aid and you're pretty confident you're going to receive some type of financial aid, you could do the short-term installment plan, which allows you to pay 25% down on January 15th, and then you defer out your remaining 75% balance out to about March or April. So that's also an option, so that your goal is then to have financial aid in place. It then comes in, it shows you still have that balance of whatever that 75% is, it pays it, and then it pays you the difference, and then you can go back and pay off whatever you had to use to pay that 25% down on January 15th. All right, so whenever you do want to go ahead and take a look at this information, you will see this under the finances section in the student center. So right underneath the academic section is the finances. You'll see payment plans, options. You'll see you can link right to your financial aid information. You can accept and decline awards. All that is right through your student center. So again, utilize this after you get enrolled in classes. You want to check out the payment plans and your different options. The one thing I've highlighted on here is your program advisor. So as I mentioned at the very beginning of this session, we do have very specialized advising here at the university. So our office is the initial advising office that you connect with. We're going to set up your assigned advisor in the system. So for your major, you will be assigned a specific advisor. So 3 days after you submit this, the survey at the end of this video, we will go in and we will program that advisor so they actually appear right there under this section. All right, this is a little overview again of the advising structure here. So again, we have the transfer advising unit, we have the Texas Medical Center and the Pearland advisors, and we also have the college advising offices. So there's the college advisors, there's College of Science and Engineering, there's College of Education, College of Business, and College of Human Sciences and Humanities. So depending on your program, you would be advised under each of those or one of those colleges based on your major. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. The Navigate student app. So this is a student app that we launched spring of 2019. This is an app that we continue to broaden. We have different units. So initially just the academic advisors were using it. So students would use it to schedule appointments. I would say by fall of 19, our tutoring units also came on board. So they started using the app. So if you needed math tutoring, you would use the app to schedule that. If you need academic coaching, so you were struggling with like time management or study skills or note-taking skills, you can use the app to schedule an academic coaching session as well. So again, more and more units are coming on board. We're trying to get career services, veteran services, orientation just came on board with using it. So again, a lot more offices are using it. So please utilize the app. You won't really be using it right now because we're going to be transitioning to the group advising, but normally you would have used it to schedule your initial appointment with us as well. So, but again, you most likely won't use it to schedule an appointment until around March or so with your college advisor. So, but there are other things that you can use it for. Look at your class schedule. There's a link to majors. You can do major exploration through the app. You can look at careers and salaries. So if you're like, I know I want to be a mechanical engineer, you can go out and look at what the career outlook looks like for a mechanical engineer in the area. So again, really detailed information. Also links you right to resources. So we have academic resources in there. So it quickly will give you a quick look of contact information, their website. You can literally click on the website link, go to their website, do whatever you need to, click done, you're right back into the app. And then you can continue doing whatever you were doing on the app. So again, great resource. That also I will cover a lot more detailed at the transfer student orientation. So I'm not going to go too much more into that today. All right, transfer advising worksheet. So this is one of the documents I was mentioning that we're going to email to you. So here we'll have your name, we'll have your username, we'll put your student ID number in there. We're going to have your degree plan that you applied for listed there. So if that's not correct, then please tell us so that we can get that updated, because the degree plan we send you is going to be based on that. If we see that you also need to add your concentration, we're going to click that box. Most likely prior to us sending this to you, someone from my team will have already called you to verify what that is. so that we could go ahead and build that for you. So, but again, if you see that box checked, then please do submit that update form to us. And our office is not the one that actually processes the transfer application update forms for your major or concentration, but we will route it to the members, the staff team in admissions who actually process those. So to make sure it gets done more efficiently, to get that update completed in a timely manner. Here, my advisors will list out your recommended classes. So we're going to list your top recommended class here. You know, we'll say most recommended, second recommended. So it's not going to say that on here. It's actually going to list management 3301, marketing 3301. So it's going to list out those classes, but we're going to tell you that they're listed in order of recommendation. So if you want to only enroll in 2 classes, then you're going to pick the top 2. If you're going to enroll in 4 classes, we're going to recommend you pick the top 4. If you can't get into all top 4 classes, then we have some backup options there, which is number 5 and 6 for you to pick from if you are trying to enroll full time. You'll also notice some hyperlinks here. So anything in the blue font, royal blue font, is hyperlinked to a resource online. So again, if you if you're not able to navigate the advisement report and you want to just do a different way of registering, this is another way to do it. And so this shows you how to do a basic class search and how to look for classes. So if you know exactly what classes you want to enroll in, you can do a basic search by class, not by your degree plan, but by a basic open search. And this walks you through those steps. The advisement report, again, I showed you how to do this today. So again, if you forget, this tells you, go to the Student Center, click on My Academics, click on View My Advisement Report. So it has it spelled out right here on how to get back to that. This is the lower half of the advising worksheet. So one of the other things that we're going to highlight on here is, again, highlighting for you to use the Navigate Student app and to download that on your phone if you have space. If you don't, there's also a way to access the app through the website. So if you go to the website, the UHCL.edu /EAB, there will be a link on the bottom and it'll say no app, no worries. And it'll link you to how to open it through the web. We're also going to indicate on here which of these colleges is your advising office. So if you're, again, psychology major, you're going to have someone in the College of Human Sciences and Humanities. If you're an education major, wanting to teach, you'll be in the College of Education. Anything under business, you'll be under the College of Business. And then anything under science and engineering, you'll be under there. So again, we'll click that box so that you know which one is yours. If you're doing teacher certification at the high school level, you're going to have 2 offices that you connect with. So your primary major will be your subject that you're teaching, and then your secondary major will be the teacher certification prep. So if you want to teach math at the high school level, then we're going to say that your primary advisor is the College of Science and Engineering, and your secondary advisor will be the College of Education, because they're going to help you to make sure you're navigating the requirements that you need for teacher certification. Other requirements that you need to complete as a new student is, again, attending and participating in transfer student orientation. Those are virtual, they're over Zoom. They're about 1.5 hours long. Again, general information, going over financial aid, student business services, how to make payments, that type of information, a lot of policy information for the university. So again, that is required, so you must complete that. So again, make sure that you do sign up for one of those sessions, whether it's the weekday or the one that's on Saturday morning. And to sign up for that, you're going to do that through your eServices. So where we were looking at those tiles earlier and we clicked on Student Center, if you go back to that screen, you'll actually see there was one called Orientation. If you click on the orientation tile, click on Transfer Student Orientation, you'll be able to sign up for the orientation. If you are a freshman transfer, meaning that you have not earned more than 30 hours in college since you graduated high school, then you'll be considered a freshman transfer, and you'll need to sign up for this SOAR session, which is Student Orientation and Registration, I think is what it stands for. But it is the freshman session, and it's a lot more detail, a lot more interactions that you'll have with orientation leaders to help you connect to campus. So, but that one is required. So even though you're a transfer student, you will participate in that one if you are a freshman. Salutations is something that we just put on here as a courtesy, as a reminder. About 2 weeks into the semester, after classes get started, you'll get an email about completing this. It's a sexual misconduct training. So this is something that you do have to complete. Every new student has to complete it. It's required by the University of Houston system. So, so it is important that you complete that. And if you don't do it, I think by March or April, they'll put a hold on your account. So do make sure that you complete that. So I just put this on there as a heads up or courtesy that you remember to do it. Helpful contacts. So if you need to set up like accommodations with our accessibility support center. So again, I put different contacts on here. Veteran services, if you're utilizing military veteran benefits, then again, I have their information on here. They also have great resources on their website. For accessibility support services, if you are setting up accommodations, they actually have a new student application. So if you search this on the web or on the UHCL search tool, you'll be able to link right to that application and fill it out and let them know what accommodations that you're looking to have here at the university, and then someone will connect with you. All right, let's go ahead and look at the candidate plan of study. So what I decided to do was to do a quick overview of each candidate plan of study. So each of you are under different colleges. So the first one I'm going to do is under the College of Human Sciences and Humanities, which we call HSH because it's a lot easier to say. So this one is actually a degree plan for psychology. And so this one, again, all of the degree plans under the College of Human Sciences and Humanities look very similar. But if you're, science and engineering or education or business, then your degree plan looks a little bit different. So again, I just want to quickly kind of go over these. We explain it when we email you, but I just wanted to tell you while you have me live. So you'll notice that the advisors, my advisors will plug in your transfer classes. So where it says math, one of these is required, science, one of these is required, they're going to plug in which of your transfer classes are filling these requirements. They're also going to put under the grade column. You'll see under the grade column, you'll see a T and you'll see the grade. So the T means transfer, and then the grade, the letter A, B, C, or D is the grade that you transferred in with. You'll also see some substitution. So one of the things I caution students, if you did not take public speaking and you did not take learning frameworks at your previous college, but you believe your core complete, then do not take those classes until you receive the guidance from my team, because it's very likely that there's something from your other college that's substituting in those places. This one has a history 2301, which is a Texas history. Again, not every school uses that class in that spot, but these are things that we are trained to look for based on where you're transferring from. The other student had a philosophy class, so that went in for their learning framework. So again, unique situation, but that's things that we're trained to look for. So again, don't take those classes unless we tell you that you need public speaking or learning frameworks. So again, for each of the degree plans, the candidate plan of study, you'll have the core on the top, and then you'll have your major requirements in the middle section. So some of them will have the general requirements for human sciences and humanities on the left, and they'll have all the major requirements on the right, or your specialization requirements. So again, these are all structured pretty similarly. And again, anything that's highlighted in yellow for a degree under HSH means you still need that requirement. So this student still needs all of those classes that are in the yellow. All right. So this is the bottom half of this degree plan. So again, what I love about the degree plans or the candidate plan of studies for HSH is that they give you the total at the bottom. So it tells you how many hours you transferred in with. So no matter, as long as you took transferable classes, they plug in all 61 hours. So whatever you're transferring in with, they will put that there. And then they total up all the courses in yellow so that you still need. So they tally up those. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, they'll count those all up. And so then there's 57 hours that still need to be completed. And it says hours remaining is 118. So the degree is 120. So to reach that 120, the student needs to take a 2-hour elective. So they'll end up probably taking a 3-hour elective because there's not very many 2-hour classes. So again, if this student would have transferred in with 63 hours, they wouldn't have needed any electives because they would already be satisfying that requirement with their other courses that they transferred in with. So again, those are things that we're going to document for you. And if you have questions about it, you can always follow back up with us. All right, this one is for education majors. So our future teachers, or if you are wanting to work in learning care centers for early childhood care and education, or the early childhood, can't remember, the Bachelor's of Applied Science. So if you're doing any of those programs under the College of Education or addictions, your degree plans will look pretty similar. All right, whoops, hit my mouse. All right, let's get back to this one. All right, so this is the top half of the candidate plan of study for the College of Education. So I chose the Bachelor's of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies, core subjects, EC through 6, early childhood concentration. So this is our most common degree plan that students choose. So again, this example, what we usually do is we'll say what classes you still need. So we'll put in your grades if you've satisfied them in the little columns here. But if you still need a specific class, we'll put in what that is. So every future teacher that's EC through 6 has to take 4 natural sciences. So you have to do 1 in biology, you have to do 1 in geology, and you have to do at least 1 from physics, astronomy, or chemistry. And our advice is that you do all 4 in different fields, because you're going to be tested over about 7 or 8 different science fields, because this is an interdisciplinary program, so meaning that you're learning multiple disciplines to be able to teach them at the elementary level. So again, we'll give you that advice and tell you what you need to take specifically. We won't tell you what number, but we'll just say this is the subject that you need to be looking for. All right. The other thing you'll notice too, for the College of Education, they have core education requirements. And so every student coming in has to take these College of Education core requirements. So it's 19 hours. This is similar for nearly every student except special ed students do not take this SPED 4300 survey of exceptionalities. But again, the core education classes are pretty similar for most of the education majors. The other thing you'll notice is I put in notes here. So this student actually had 2 math classes for teachers that look really similar to our classes. And so I told the student, get your syllabus for your MAP 155 and MAP 1556 from the college that they were transferring from, so we could get those evaluated. They actually were approved to satisfy those requirements. And the other thing that you'll notice about these degree plans too is they actually will document. So let's look on page 2. You see these where it has F, SP, SU out to the right. So they actually tell you when these classes are offered, which is really nice. Not all of the degree programs do this, but under education, they will tell you this class is offered every spring, every summer, or it'll say this class is fall, spring only, or it'll say if it's spring only. So again, you'll be able to make a more informed decision about your classes. All right. Again, what we're doing is we're preparing you to pass your Texas certification exam. So that information is highlighted there at the bottom. All right. And then the one thing I would say is that when you receive this degree plan from us, review the top part very thoroughly, the first page, but these documents will typically be 2 to 3 pages long. And so I do encourage you after the semester gets going is to spend some time really looking at pages 2 and 3. If your candidate plan of study does have additional pages attached to it. But again, to start out, you're probably going to be really focusing on just that top half in any classes that we've highlighted that you need to focus on. All right, so this one is for College of Business. So this is the top half of the College of Business degree plan. This one is particularly for management majors. Again, one of the most common majors in our College of Business. You'll see again the grades out to the left, T for transfer, the grade. So very similar to the other one. It starts out with the general core on the top. You can also see where specific classes have been plugged in by the advisors if they had unique classes. You'll see the lower level business core. Now, one thing that I've pointed out here is there's 2 classes. Again, I talked about these earlier when we were looking at the advisement report, is to not take the business computer applications or the business principles class if you happen to have started college prior to fall of 17 or prior to fall of 16 for the business computers class. So again, those are things that we'll note So if we put on there exempt, then that just means that you don't necessarily need to take that class. But I tell students, you're going to need to make up the credits anyway. So if you don't have other electives that's making up those hours, then I would encourage you to take the classes if the times of them work with your schedule, because the business principles is teaching you about the different career pathways that you can do with a business degree. It's also helping you to market yourself as a business major. And the business computer applications teaches you Access. So if you are not familiar with Microsoft Access and you don't have any other way of learning about that tool and how to set up programs in Microsoft Access, then you're going to want to take this class, because there's a class down here, which is ISAM 3303, Information Systems for Management, that assumes that you know how to set up a basic database in Access. And they're going to have you do more in-depth level programming in that class. So again, if you don't know Microsoft Access, then you should take that class, even if you started college prior to fall of 16, and you could be exempt. Again, those are things that you can talk with us about. We can give you guidance on that. I highlighted too, there's a class called Strategic Management. It says capstone. So that class has to be done in your last semester. Again, you're not really going to be picking most of these classes, or you're only going to be focusing on the classes that we highlight. So typically, again, we're going to highlight classes for management majors. They have to take Management 3301. And if that class is full and you don't see any other options, get on the wait list, email us if you're concerned. We will advocate on your behalf to the college and try to get you enrolled in that class. So if you're a management major and that is one of your essential classes and you've already done all your foundation classes, then we will advocate for you. So reach out to us, send us an email, and we will advocate on your behalf. The College of Business Plan of Study, bottom half. So this is the lower part of that degree plan. Again, it gets into the major requirements. Now for this degree, there are 4 different concentrations that you can choose from. And so you can choose to just do electives in management of your own choosing, or you can choose one of the prescribed specializations that they have lined up for you. So if you look at page 2 of this document, then you'll see those options for you. This doesn't have to be declared in order for us to advise you on the front end. So again, important to know, but not like the other programs where it has to be declared up front. All right. This is the College of Science and Engineering candidate plan of study. So again, very different than the ones that you've seen earlier. So they put everything out to the left as far as the courses, and they also document the semester that you took classes. They'll plug in all your transfer classes. We even make note of like what's in progress. So one of the things my advisors will do is we'll look at your transcript that you submitted, because a lot of students, you submitted your transcripts to us, but it was prior to your grades posting this fall. And so if that was the case, we'll notate what was in progress so that you don't have to, so that we're not telling you to take that class here. We do that extra work to see what classes you have in progress. We also appreciate it when you tell us what classes you have in progress. So one thing you'll notice too is that this program actually has 4 different columns. And so you'll notice that most of the numbers are lined up under the transfer lower level hours. And that's because you're transferring most of your classes from a lower level or a community college, right? So you're transferring in most of your freshman and sophomore level classes, your composition, your calculus, those types of classes. Those are all considered lower level because they are 1,000 or 2,000 level classes. You probably aren't going to be transferring in many upper level classes. So that column on the far right probably will never have anything under it unless you're coming from another university and you're already close to being a junior or senior at that university. Most of your hours moving forward will be under the upper level hours at UHCL. So if you're coming in as a junior level transfer, then again, most of your classes will be under that column. So, all right. All right, so this is the lower half of the candidate plan of study for science and engineering. Again, this is specific to biology majors, but they all are very similar. Again, your specialization, declaring that up front is important. We do need to know that. As you can see, this degree is very specific to that specialization. So this one is the ecology, microbiology, aquatic, and marine specialization. So again, we need to know that what your goal is with this degree so that we can make sure you're under the right specialization. The one thing that you'll notice too is on the bottom right of these candidate plan of studies, we'll have faculty mentors. So these are faculty who have interest in ecology, that their specialty is in those fields. Like Dr. Howard, she does researches the behaviors of birds in the Amazon or something like that. So she's our ecologist on staff, and so or on faculty. So depending on what your interest is, they will connect you with a faculty member who specializes in that, so that you have someone that you can go to when you want to talk about internships and careers and what you can do for grad school, things like that. So again, that's what that person will be for. Your advisor will be helping you track your progress and taking classes in the right sequence for your major. But when you build your specialization, which you'll see here on the lower half, your specialized electives, you're going to be picking those probably in consultation with these faculty mentors. So they're going to be telling you a little bit about those classes based on what your goals are, and then say, I think you should really take these classes. So again, they'll give you that feedback, and you don't have to worry about that until later on. After you've completed a couple of semesters here, you really won't get into those classes right away. All right, so that covers all of our candidate plans of studies for each of our programs. So again, your next step is to now move forward with registration. So again, we have a couple of options for you to choose from. So option one is for you to be able to register for classes on your own. So if you choose that, meaning that you feel comfortable with the information that you've learned today, and you feel comfortable navigating the site on your own and trying to figure out the registration piece, then you can choose option one, and we'll lift your hold. And then we're going to email you a degree plan or the candidate plan of study along with your transfer advising worksheet, which will have your recommended classes on it within 3 business days, assuming it is not during the break. So not either between December 23rd and January 4th, which is when we'll be closed. All right. The option two is to register for classes during a small group Zoom session. So our first session will be this coming Tuesday, or the first session will be held on Tuesday, December 22nd. The next available session will be held on January 5th. So we open back up on January 4th. And this is actually piggybacking on the transfer student orientation that's going to be going on that day. So transfer student orientation begins at 4, and we're going to be holding a session right beforehand. So about an hour before that. We haven't locked in the time yet, but we will send you that information. So if you select option 2, then we'll send you the details on that. Our next one available will be January 9th. That is this Saturday, transfer student orientation. So we're going to be piggybacking and partnering with them to offer this right after their session. So their session is from 9 to 11, and we'll offer a session at 11 o'clock. So that, again, if you want registration assistance, you can go ahead and leave the transfer orientation and join in our session that will be starting at 11. Again, more information, we'll email that to you as well. Check out our transfer advising page. So www.uhcl.edu/transfer-advising, and select the admitted transfer students link, and we'll have more information posted there. Option 3 is to schedule an individual advising session. So, and you'll register for classes after that. So this will be a 30-minute one-on-one appointment with an advisor over Zoom. And the one thing I just want to caution is that we are offering very limited individual appointments just because we're trying to serve multiple students in a more efficient way. We're offering more options for students in the group settings. But again, we will offer you individual appointments if you do have a unique situation that you just don't want to discuss in a group setting, or you're coming from out of state or private, and you know you have a lot of classes that are in question, because when you look at your audit, it's showing that you need quite a few things that you believe you already have credit for. So again, if you have that situation, please do schedule that individual appointment. We'd be happy to spend that extra time with you and kind of dive more deep into your situation and helping you with your transition to the university. To schedule that appointment, you're going to call our front desk. So we have 2 different front desks, one at Pearland, one at Clear Lake. They all connect you to the same advisors. So call 281-283-3068. If you don't get anybody there, call the other number, 281-212-1615. So Miss Emma and Miss Diana are our front desk staff at those locations. Again, for transfer advising, we have 2 different locations to support our students. And so those staff are all cross-trained, and they can get you connected with our transfer advisors. All right. And then let them know that you've already done the video, because that's probably one of the first things they're going to ask you, is that you already went through the video, you submitted the survey, and that you selected option 3, so that they'll know that you have done that step and they can go ahead and get you scheduled. All right. So we're at the end. So thank you for hanging in there. Again, hopefully this information was helpful. I know it was a lot of information, but it is things that I believe will be helpful to you as you're trying to learn about what resources we offer to help you navigate your degree here at the university. So your next step, if you have an iPhone, is you can open up your camera on your iPhone and hover that over the computer screen here. And it will, for the QR code, it will pull up the QR code link. You click the link on your iPhone and it'll open up the survey automatically there from your phone. If you don't have an iPhone, you can actually take down this URL. So the http://bit.ly/3AKC23G. So if you go ahead and take that down, put that in a URL, it'll take you to the survey as well. Again, thank you for your time. Welcome to UH Clear Lake. And also we will be closed for winter break, December 23rd through January 3rd. So we will open back up on January 4th. So if I don't see you before then, have a safe and happy holiday. And I hope that you get to spend time with family, even if it's connecting virtually, but do have some fun and hopefully you'll have some laughter too. So take care and we look forward to assisting you.